Sure.
All right, we're good to go.
Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, so I will call the Town Council Community and Economic Development Committee meeting to order. The members of the committee present are Marilee Kenny Hunt and Sonia Striggles and myself. Patrick, over to you.
All right. Being 6:30 on Wednesday, December 3rd, and having quorum of the planning board, I'll go to item one and call our Bridgewater Planning Board meeting to order. Item two on our agenda is a joint public hearing with the Community and Economic Development Committee of the Town Council, the CED. This is a zoning ordinance amendment, DY FY 26001, zoning amendment, MBTA final compliance ordinance for the town of Bridgewater regarding sections 3.1.1.1, principal uses, applicability of use regulations, and section 9.9.4.2, MBTA Communities Overlay District, which are two districts, MBTA COD requirements. And Shane, I believe this, so I opened the public hearing, and I believe this is a continuation or was this re-advertised, or is there a new notice for this? Is there a new advertisement that you
Yeah,
want?
oh, I'm sorry, I was on mute. Yeah. Let
So let
me
me go ahead and read
I'll
it.
put it on the screen and you can read it.
And Pat and I agreed before the meeting that rather than both of us saying the same stuff, I'm gonna have Pat handle running the meeting, and I will call for the vote when our committee needs to vote on this.
All right, so Council Lindy, I opened our part of the joint public hearing.
Okay.
You want to
And
open your part of the joint
yep,
public
I
hearing?
will open our part of the public hearing at 6:32 p.m. on it's hard to see all that. I'm not gonna
I'll read it. You want me to read it, Mike? I can see
it's
it.
hard. Yeah, I'm having a hard time seeing it.
All right, so both meetings are open, and I'll just read the legal notice of public hearing, zoning amendment, Town of Bridgewater, pursuant to MGL Chapter 48, Section 5. Notice is hereby given by the Bridgewater Planning Board and the CED Committee. They'll be holding a joint public hearing on Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. via Zoom. The Zoom link is attached, meeting ID is attached, passcode is attached to receive public input on a proposed zoning ordinance amendment DY FY 26001 zoning amendment. MBTA final compliance ordinance for the town of Bridgewater regarding sections 3.1.1, principal uses, applicability of use regulations, and section 9.9.4.2 MBTA Communities Overlay District, MBTA COD requirements. The proposed zoning amendment is on file in the town clerk's office and the Community Economic Development Office at 66 Central Square, Bridgewater, Mass. And to view online, there's a link to the webpage, and please contact the Community Economic Development Office at 697 508 697 0950 for any questions. So the public hearings are open, and
And just a note, I think I put up the wrong legal notice. It was not a passcode to enter this meeting. Um
was that the
I think
right?
I think that was a draft one, legal notice. Everything else is the same. I think I eliminated the passcode to enter the meeting.
All right, and you can confirm that it was posted in
Ab-
the enterprise,
That's
correct?
correct.
Okay. All right, so this is being introduced by Councilor Perry. I don't know if staff or Councilor Perry or the CED committee wants to take it from here.
I don't know if Counselor Perry is on the meeting. I can't scanning just to look.
Well, it's all right. So I mean,
Go ahead.
Shane, this is basically come back to us because we had reviewed it, and the planning board submitted a letter um, after we voted 5-0 to not recommend it. I believe the council CED committee also voted 3-0 not to recommend it, but they proposed amendments that were based off our letter that was sent to them, along with their discussion, and that's what's before us this evening. So, um, Shane, I don't know if you want to explain the changes from what you originally drafted with the CED with Council Striggles and now with Council Perry, if you want to kind of
Sure.
discuss
Yeah, let me
that.
just share my screen and Bob and I can discuss the changes. So as you have already alluded to, Mr. Chair, Councilor Striggles has passed this along to Councilor Perry. And as we took the recommendations to both the CED Committee and Planning Board to heart, in terms of getting this ordinance closer to a more reasonable number, closer to that minimum number that the state has required for us. So originally we had language regarding multiple dwellings or multiple uses. Let me see if I can pull that up. The original language pertained to not allowing for multiple uses on a lot, whereas now that language is going to become, and this is pertinent to 3.111, no dwelling shall be erected except on a lot fronting on a street, and there shall not be one more principal residential building on a lot, with a footnote saying multiple principal buildings on one lot are permitted within the CBD, CBDR, and MBTA overlay districts. As well as from there, the requirements would allow for multifamily. I think regardless of other standards, the residential density from the two MBTA COD districts was previously 15 units per acre, and that was what we originally have, or what's currently in the ordinance. This would be separated into two different units per acre. Multifamily units per acre are allowed within both sub-districts, and regardless of the underlying zoning, the now allowable residential density for these districts are up to 18 units per acre in the MBTA partial CBDR and up to 30 units per acre in the MBTA residential D districts. So, as well as we provide this information, it's on the website as well too. We provide a letter to town council providing information regarding these numbers. So originally, based on our current compliance models, our unit capacity for the 15 units per acre for District 1 would have been 461 and 149, which would have put us under the 1401. But with these changes in the unit counts, this allows for us, as well as inclusion of the Waterford Village developable area. It allows for us to have the unit count within the 20% area of the MBTA station that's required as part of this to meet the 20% requirement, as well as get us to a number closer to 1401 with a allowable unit capacity of 1,434. So we've kind of presented these to the CED committee, as well as had a discussion in front of council that planning board was invited to, as you yourself, Mr. Chair, were there. I think it was a good discussion regarding finding a positive solution to become MBTA compliant, as we're conditionally compliant right now, with the grant considerations that we should be maintaining eligibility for. And we're happy to answer any questions and assist you along with this. But I think that we did a good job changing this up from the board's help, and we want to hear what you have to say.
If I could just add, Mr. Chairman, the town manager, Shane, and myself did have an opportunity to review the proposed changes with staff at the Executive Office of Livable Communities, and they were fine with the changes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Lindy, any questions from your board?
I'll ask either Marilee Hunt or Sonia Striggles if there are any questions.
No questions from me.
Okay.
No
Sonia?
questions, no questions for me. I just wanted to reiterate that I did ask Councilor Perry to step in just in the event this was continuing on and I happened to go into labor. So we need someone who can actually be present at a meeting. Thankfully, I'm still pregnant, so I am here, but I wanted to make sure that the legislation was protected. So I took my name off of it and asked him to graciously step on. And all of the changes that were proposed were based on conversations that we obviously had during the CED committee meeting. And we wanted to make sure that we were adhering to what the planning board was kind of looking at as far as requested changes and things that they may be more comfortable supporting. So we did want to at least have some alignment there, just so that we were as united of a front as possible as we move forward to decide whether or not this is something that we should recommend back to the full council. So those would be my comments.
Thank you, Councilor Striggles. Go ahead, Pat.
Okay, so planning board comments, questions, concerns to staff or CED?
I'll throw my 2 cents worth in, Mr. Chairman.
Sure, Mr. Perry, go ahead.
I think everyone who worked on this got it down to the minimum we could have to be in approval with the state. And I commend you guys for doing that. You did a great job. However, the state is looking out for the state. The state is not looking out for Bridgewater. And I cannot in good conscience vote for this. I think it concentrates all of our problems, which are already there, existing, magnifies them 5 times. And I think going down the road, 5 to 10 years from now, you will not recognize this town if this goes forward. That's what I have to say. And not for the good.
Thank you, Mr. Perry. Anybody else on the planning board? Questions, comments? Mr. Geller, are you trying to say something?
No, I have nothing at this time.
Mr. Costa, Mr. Fabrowski?
Nothing at this time.
I'll just say, when it first came to us, I didn't like it at all. And I wanted to make sure that there were caps, and if we were going to comply, that we hit, that we just, we complied with just what we needed to comply, not anything more. I have major concerns like Mr. Pratty. I think that if we do vote for this favorably, that we should ask the CED committee to work with us ASAP to kind of work out some of the kinks of some of the issues in our CBD zoning that we see. Permitting should be easier than it currently is. I know there's a lot of interpretation issues and things like that because I think sections of it are poorly written. I think that we need more of a commercial requirement downtown. The other thing too is I sent over to Mr. Rulli and to Mr. O'Brien. I know a number of people were asking for fiscal analysis and build out analysis, and they were told in other meetings that couldn't be done. It was more project specific, but there is a study that Needham did where they did a probability of development. They did a couple different scenarios. They did a build out analysis. They did financial impacts, water impacts, and things like that. And I think, we're late to the game, and we kind of have a, we're at the final, deadline to comply. So if this does go forward, I hope that the planning board can immediately work with the CED committee to come up with a cleanup, so to speak, of the CBD district, zoning wise, and to put some safeguards in so that we can deny a project based on water and sewer, and there are some standards based on that stuff. So, but again, I do agree with Mr. Pratty. I'm glad we're just meeting the minimum. I will support it because I helped work on the amendment or was part of drafted the letter from the planning board back based on our concerns that there weren't caps, and we wanted to meet the minimum threshold, and that's what they did. So I don't like it either, and I think we need to do a lot of work in the next couple of months to clean up the zoning for downtown, make buildings look better, have stricter design standards, more of a commercial requirement, and have some water and sewer safeguards. But
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Lundy?
Yeah, I concur with pretty much most of everything that you said. I pledge as chair of CED to work with the planning board diligently over the next few months to do this. I'm sure my members will do that as well. And I do have a question though about the 1401 to the 14, I think it's 34 that was on the chart. If our requirement is 1401, why do we have to be at 1434?
I mean, it's probably just, I
It's
don't
the
want
way
to.
the district map is drawn. I mean, we can't just drop, we've got requirements for percentages in a district line. So that's just how many homes were in that line.
Okay,
Well, it's probably like a rounding thing too, Mark. You know what I mean? It's just,
okay.
you have that much land area, you're not going to get, I mean, that's pretty darn close, you know?
Yeah, 1401 is more than enough, in my opinion. I,
Any other, go ahead, Mr. Lundy, I'm sorry.
I guess they can speak during public hearing, but I know I do have other counselors here. And I like to offer them the opportunity if they want to say something. So I'm gonna,
Yeah, so why don't we, Mr. Lundy, why don't we, if both boards have asked their initial questions,
yeah,
Mr. Costa, Mr. Fabrowski, do you want to add anything before we go to public
One thing
comment?
I would like to add, Mr. Chairman, is that we're doing we're jumping through hoops, to make it happen. However, like we have not, there's been no discussion of how we're going to any capital improvements or any municipal improvements would be made to handle the load that you're trying to put onto Bridgewater. The infrastructure of the downtown is not capable of handling what we're trying to do. And it should be part of the equation. We're looking at what we're going to get out of these grants and parks and whatnot, but we're not really talking about what this is going to cause Bridgewater to have to do to handle that kind of load.
Correct.
So Mr. O'Brien, what was the consultant's name that came before the council again?
The consultant's name, that was Jeff Davis from Horsley Witten Group.
So I think, I mean, Jeff Davis mentioned that we could stop development if there was not adequate infrastructure. So that's why I think it's very important that we should have done all this beforehand, but we're trying to comply by the deadline. I think it's very important that we have standards in place as to what infrastructure need to be met to build something, and what can we deny a project based on? So if a 30-unit building comes in and we're still in the same water situation, the planning board's hands are really tied because we don't have good legislation or standards of approval, and it's very difficult to make decisions. One of our decision criteria is, if you look at our standards for large projects, is that we have adequate infrastructure and adequate access to utilities. And that's how do we determine that, right? So I think that it's very important. I'm willing to start the first meeting in January if the CED committee wants to come. We can start to mock up. We can take the form-based code, the MBTA communities, and start to mock it up as to what changes we want to see. I mean, if you have more commercial in a building that in the CBD R zone outside of the MBTA, that has a higher parking requirement that reduces residential density. So there are things that we can do by changing the zoning downtown, and also apply some, you know, I thought we were going to have buildings that looked a little more like the historic character of downtown, and just some of these buildings coming in these big square boxes, I don't think are very attractive at all either. I think we need to work on those envelope standards as well.
But
So
what you're saying, Pat, though, is quite frankly, if the infrastructure is not there, we're supposed to make that. Right now, they're talking about Bridgewater other dudes with brown water. Who's gonna decide that the infrastructure isn't capable?
well, that's why I think right away we need to come up with a plan, like right away.
Yep.
And to Chris's comments as well too, something that should also be considered as part of this is that a lot of state grants are tied to being compliant with MBTA communities. So there are opportunities with the Community Catalyst Fund, as well as MassWorks grant for the town to be eligible for and stay eligible for, that can make these infrastructure improvements. So I just want the board to be considerate of that as well.
Any
Yeah,
other counselors, members of my committee want to comment? Marilee, I know you're off mute. Did you want to say something?
No, I'm just
Okay,
habitually off mute. But
okay,
I agree with the discussions as they're going.
okay.
the council, and do you want to open it up to public comment now?
Yes, I'll open it up to public comment, and I need people to use the raise hand feature. I will recognize my fellow counselor, Adeline Ellenberg, first if she wants to speak. You're on mute, Adeline. You're on mute. Can she, do you have to take her off mute, Shane, or does she?
Counselor, would you like to speak or are you just here? Yeah,
She,
yeah, I'll unmute you. Don't worry. You're good.
Yes, okay. I'm sorry, I lost the image. I'm going to get back to you, and may I speak a little later?
sure, of
Thank you.
course. Okay, I'm looking around to see if there's anybody that wants to speak. I believe it's Janet. It says Janet's iPad, but I believe it's Janet Hanson. Go ahead.
Hi, Janet Hanson, Pleasant Street. Thank you. I agree with the first gentleman that spoke. I'm sorry, at the planning board. I'm sorry, I forget your name, but it's hard to have swallow having this come in, and I know that we're supposed to have to be able to comply, and that's the governor's problem, but forcing all these towns to do these things. We definitely need to do the minimum amount if it has to be done, but I don't want to compromise Bridgewater just to get some grants. And Mr. O'Brien mentioned the Catalyst Fund, and I thought the last time there was a meeting, or Mr. Rulli had said, and I might be wrong, but that we've don't qualify for that anymore. So I don't know if that's back in play, but
Mr. Lindy, could I respond to that? Just to answer her
Yeah,
question?
I was gonna ask if you could, and just we'll be careful with the back and forth. Go ahead.
Yeah, just real quickly, what I had said is because we are in partial compliance, we were not eligible for the Catalyst Fund. If we had been in full compliance, we would be eligible. Presently, we are in partial compliance.
So if we become fully compliant, then puts us back in the running? Is that what you're saying?
I'm going to defer to Mr. Lind if he wants me to
Go ahead,
expound
Mr.
further.
Rowley.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Rowley.
That program has closed this fiscal year. I mean, it's likely it will open again, just like the one-stop grants. But we can't say for certain, when that's going to be or how much money is going to be allocated. I mean, again, it was an incentive this fiscal year to help communities that were looking to be in or that were in compliance to meet some of their infrastructure needs.
Okay, thank you. But I just that's something to consider, that not everything is necessarily going to be available to us regardless. And I'm just concerned of what this brings, and to say, okay, we're going to do it without having any plans, like you all have been discussing that you need to start doing. Shouldn't that be done before you say yes to something? That's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet. The next person that had their hand raised was James Walsh. Go ahead.
Oh, good.
Oh, thank you. An opening. James Walsh, 60 Crescent Street. Just wanted to thank the board and folks for the discussion so far. I definitely agree. I think, I understand that at this point the law's already in place, right? This is a modification, and I know we've spent a lot of time and there's been a lot of people on these calls, so I'm sure a lot of us would be happy to kind of put this to bed, but I really appreciate the frank conversation about a general overhaul. I also agree. I think like really going line by line and thinking about, looking back at some of our previous approvals and saying like, what is the mechanism we wish we'd had so we could have, shut some of these things down or maybe shape them differently so they'd be better neighbors. Would really love to see that happen and hope to join that in the new year. So thank you for floating it.
Thank you. Next up, I believe, is Mark Peterson. Go ahead, Mark.
Is Mark Peterson, Church Street. I just noticed on 3.1.1, no dwelling shall be erected on one lot fronting a street, and there should be not more than one principal residential building on any lot, and then it goes footnote, multiple principal buildings on one lot are permitted within CBD, CBD-R, and MBT overlay districts. How many properties does that actually affect in the downtown? How many potential buildings could that create?
Who would like to answer that from the town side?
Well,
I think
I don't,
based on the compliance model, there's only a certain amount of building coverage that would be applicable to this. So we have typical standards that in our zoning ordinance in these districts that require a certain amount of open space, a certain amount of parking. So the amount of buildings would be based on how much building coverage would be allowed. It's just this was one of the requirements that the state had asked for, that you can't simply state that one building be built on one property. You would have to allow for a developer to have the opportunity to put multiple buildings. And this could come in the form of like townhouses or, multiple multifamily buildings on one site. But yeah, ultimately our zoning ordinance dictates how many buildings would be on there. There's not a number per se. It would depend on lot to lot, based on the lot coverage.
Well, no, my question more is you made all these changes to come up with a new number, 1434. So I guess is this change here would have added some to get to that number. Do you know how much that was that got to this number?
In
How much
terms of
this
buildings or units?
this particular 3.1.1 change?
That shouldn't affect the number. That's just 3.1.1 isn't necessarily considered in the compliance model. We put in per coverages and percentages. The multiple buildings per lot were just came from the state's recommendation to become fully compliant is to allow for more than one building per lot.
so
So that
Mr.
it
Peterson, I think the issue is that if you look at the RMBTA zoning, you have to follow, I think it's either flex or transitional development standards. That pushes the buildings to the street. I believe the max building size is 3,500 square feet. So if you're only allowing a 3,500 square foot building on a lot, that restricts the development. So by allowing multiple buildings, you can go over that 35,000 square foot footprint. But I agree with you that the fumble that we had long ago is that there is no, like other towns did, we don't have a build out analysis, we don't have an infrastructure analysis, and we don't have a fiscal analysis. So, I mean,
I want to comment on that. You can take a position that the study you referred to was a hypothetical. This could be built. We have provided for the Perkins Foundry project and for Broad Street fiscal impact analysis, infrastructure and analysis. The water department.
and I agree with that, but I'm saying the whole district.
But that's a hypothetical. I mean, we don't know. I mean, we could have a lot where somebody said I could do one multifamily building, or I could do townhouses. So that would change. I mean,
But
it's not fair to say that we haven't looked at this. We've provided this information for over a year in slides in town council presentations and planning board presentations. So you may not like the form that we gave you the information. A 38-page report in another town, there's no guarantee people are going to read that or even understand it.
So I got a specific question. So if there's a lot that's less than half an acre, and they already have a 5 family on that lot, but there's enough room for another building in the back, and it's in the CBD-R district, there's a chance another building could be built back there?
they'd have to meet the design criteria. But yes.
I'm looking through the
Mr. Rulli, that we have been provided a lot of information, but at the last meeting, we were told the number had to be 41 units per acre when it's 18. So I think there's a lot of misinformation as well.
Okay, I see Donna Jules' hand up. Go ahead, Donna.
Hi, good evening, Donna Jill, Keith Place. I have to echo the sentiments of Mr. Pratty and Mr. Fabrowski of the concern of how this will impact our community. we've been hearing so much about our infrastructure, particularly our water, and water looks like it's going to be a long time, many years before it's fully resolved. And I don't see how we're going to be able to even provide water to a couple of the projects that are currently being proposed. I understand what we're being told about the grants, but I'd like to know if there's been any analysis done about the grants that tells us, best case, worst case scenario, based on what our experience has been with receiving grants over the last couple of years. When I do a quick analysis of, let's just say 400 apartments got added to our town, that would generate 100 students based on factual information we have available through public records. And assuming that by that time it's going to cost about $18,000 or more a year for each student, that's a direct cost to the town of $1.8 million annually, and that goes on perpetually. That means to just break even on this, we would have to have grants totaling $1.8 million or more every single year. And that would just be to cover the impact on schools. Have we looked at that number at all, just on that one area of the impact on schools?
I'm sure not.
Has anybody?
You and I can continue to disagree on this, and you've brought this up at other meetings. I mean, the statistics, even though the numbers that you have refer to properties that are 40Bs, statistical data from across the country shows that when you have market rate units of studios and 1 and 2 bedrooms, that the percentage of students in the schools is significantly less than it would be in other types of housing. We've also shown with those projects that have been proposed, the fiscal impact, the amount of money that would be brought in, offset against what police, fire, and school would be. And we were positive in terms of the additional revenue. The connection fees and the permit fees on some of these projects are over $700,000. So, again, we can throw a lot of misinformation out there, but we've addressed this issue that you've brought up, Ms. Jewell, on more than one occasion. You may not like the answer, but so yes, we have done some analysis.
I don't feel the answer is accurate and pertinent to Bridgewater because it's stated on a national basis. The public records requests that I have brought forward are on current apartments in Bridgewater, their Axis, their Lakeshore, their Matellowayne, their Kingswood, their Waterford. And it's real world for what Bridgewater experience is not what people experience in Minnesota or California. It's very focused on our area, as well as it equates to pretty much what's happening in the state of Massachusetts. We're a little bit on the low side of the 1 to 4. I think we have to look at real world, not what it is. It's easy to average it out nationally. That's not Bridgewater.
I have multiple hands up. Adeline Ellenberg, Counselor, go ahead.
Hello. I feel that we should not be approving this, and I realize that is a controversial position to take. However, I feel that the state, BSU, is using our water, and the state also is imposing this on us. We have a water crisis. We all agree. So my thing is, so what's the state going to do for us? I think we ought to play a little bit of hardball for Bridgewater.
That's it, Counselor?
Don't all answer at once.
I don't think it needs to go back and forth with the answers unless there's a factual thing. I don't want to see debates.
Okay.
I will now recognize Bob Cormier. Go ahead, Bob.
Hey, good evening. It's Bob Cormier, 65 Grange Park. I just want to make a comment on the school thing. We can argue about what the statistics say, but the fact of the matter is the property types that you're comparing are residential only, high density, not on a main road. They're not mixed use. They're primarily 2 and 3 bedrooms. Even if it is 1 and 4, let's try to at least get the data correct on cost per pupil. The $18,000 that continues to be referenced is not what the town's contribution is. That is the total expenditure per pupil. The town contribution is about 59%, depending on where Chapter 70 does, and that's both Bridgewater and Rainham. And then Bridgewater's cut of that is 62%. So on 18,000, we're literally around $6,200 a student that the town is contributing. So I just want to make that clear when we're doing the analysis on what could be the impact of the schools, which I care about very deeply. Let's at least make it a realistic number based on what the burden of Bridgewater is as a percentage of that contribution per pupil. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Cormier. Pat Neri, you're next. Go ahead, you can unmute.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Pat Neary, Lakeside Drive. I just wanted to mention that I heard that Mr. Davis's advice about the planning board being able to quell a building development because of the infrastructure. I don't think that's accurate. I don't believe that we have regulations in place that will allow that. So correct me if I'm wrong or if I heard incorrectly, but that's an important feature to help you decide whether to go forward on this MBTA thing or not. If we don't have regulations in place that can quell or squash a development, then it's just going to go forward. And the other thing is, I agree with Mr. Driscoll's plan to revitalize or revise all of our regulations, especially building designs. For example, the Friendly's property, that's very unacceptable design, which is going forward. And you have a lot of work to do. And thank you for listening.
Thank you, Pat. Let's look and see if we have any more people that want to speak. Do you see anybody at all, Shane?
I don't see any virtual hands raised. Let's see if there's any actual hands raised. Nope, no one has their video on. Nope,
Okay.
I don't see any other hands raised at this time.
I'm not sure, but it has looked on my screen like Heather Stoddard had been raising her hand.
No, she's been making comments.
Thumbsing upping.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there is one person on here that just is maybe one or possibly two that are listed as iPhone. So if there's any way to change your name on the rename, it's like 3 dots, and so we know who you are. Okay, I'm gonna kick this back to Mr. Driscoll.
Yeah, so do you want to close the public comment period, Mr. Lindy, or do you want to keep it open?
What do you recommend? I think we should close
Well,
it.
if there's nobody else from the public that wishes to speak, we should probably close the public hearing.
Okay,
The public portion of it.
I will close the public hearing at 7:08 p.m.
No. You're not closing the public hearing. We're just closing the public
comment.
Right.
Yes, correct.
All right. So it's back to our boards just for discussion, or if we want to close the public hearing, or what we want to do. So is there any more comments or questions from the planning board?
Pat, I have one other question. I'm just curious. I know there's a ton of work done to this. I understand, and now we're under a deadline. But this whole area, you're talking about, you're adding a lot more congestion to it. Has there been a traffic study for this area? What the changes of the traffic would be?
So,
based on anticipated development?
You just talked about the two major ones on 18, and now this area, which is all, quite frankly, close to downtown. Has there been a traffic study to show what the changes of all this in that small area is going to do to the downtown?
Mr. O'Brien, I think, wants to answer.
I can speak to, there's been a traffic study completed for the Route 18 corridor. That was completed by OCPC, as well as a active Route 104 corridor study. Those are pretty much our major north, south, east, west routes in town that have been worked on by OCPC. And as part of those studies, we have given consideration to developments, as well as made sure that OCPC considered the impacts of MBTA communities. It's been something that we've discussed around too. as part of that. So there's been two active, one completed Route 18 corridor study. You can find it online, as well as the Route 104 corridor study that OCPC is currently in the final stages of finalizing.
Was there any changes to the town?
No, this is we would what we're working through right now is that we what I can say is that we are eligible for and we've applied for shared street grants for pedestrian improvements, but there's also opportunities for complete street grants to consider traffic improvements as well as other transportation-based grants that we can look to either quell traffic or look to other options in terms of pedestrian travel as well as bicycle travel as well through the downtown in these areas.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to. This is one of those things. Once you let this cat out of the bag, those changes are forever.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, especially somebody that works out of Bridgewater, and I'm the last guy that would be against construction. However, Bridgewater really lacks the infrastructure to handle, these larger loads. So it's just something that has to be part of the equation.
And that's why I think it's so important that if we move forward, we have to we have to rework some of these zoning ordinances so that we get what we want downtown. So it looks a certain way, so there's enough meaningful commercial development, and we're not getting, 5% commercial and the rest residential. I mean, we need to see some more meaningful commercial and tighter design standards downtown. So I think we need to work on an infrastructure plan that the planning board can determine base what we determine adequacy of utilities on, because that's kind of some loose language right now. And I think as some members of the public have pointed out, like Mr. Walsh, there's things that we can put into our zoning that that hurdles that developers would need to achieve to develop a property and to tie into our town infrastructure. So I mean, I'd like to set up like the first workshop in first meeting in January if we can, to try to get some of the zoning, maybe have Mr. Solari come in and talk about issues he sees with it and permitting. Have Mr. O'Brien work on a few things, what he sees for issues with permitting, and maybe get some planning board feedback as to what we don't like when it comes to us. So these kinks can be worked out before the developer sits down with the staff.
Mr. Driscoll, I just want to let you know it's 7:13 and we do have a special council meeting scheduled right at 7:30 after we deliberate on this. I'm not trying to rush anybody or anything, but if any of my members would like to comment further from our committee, either Marilee or Sonia. No further comment? Go ahead,
I would
Sonia.
just say that ultimately we were able to get the number as low as we possibly were able to. I think in the last week or so, we clearly have seen an influx of conversation, despite the fact that it has been ongoing conversation, not only for the council, but for town staff of our water situation. So I am definitely for what Chair Driscoll is proposing, that we start hitting the ground running, making sure that we are workshopping some ordinance changes to ensure that we are not only improving buildings that we currently have, but that we're making sure that any further building will be advantageous to Bridgewater and not a detriment to Bridgewater. So I think if this does move forward, I plan on supporting it because ultimately I helped write it. I feel very similarly to Chair Driscoll that the work was put into it to get us to this point. I support it with reluctance only because of our current situation, but I also support it because of potential grant opportunities that we haven't even been able to fully explore the amount that we could potentially get versus leaving money on the table when we really aren't in a position to leave money that could potentially impact our infrastructure long term on the table. So those would be my comments.
Thank you. I have issues with this because of the infrastructure that we've been discussing the last couple of weeks, and I don't want to leave money on the table either, but I agree with Mr. Praddy. I can't in good conscience be in favor of this. So I would like to call for a vote for my committee.
Well, wait a minute, Mr. We have to, can I just go back to the planning board for
Yes,
a second?
yes, sir.
Are there any final comments on the planning board?
No,
So good, Tom.
no, I'm all set with it now. Thank you.
So Don, I mean, I have to agree. I'm glad you all brought it to the minimum, and we realize everything that's going on in town, but I agree that we should hit the ground running and have these meetings and try and do some of our zoning changes. Would we also be able to maybe to developers institute as far as their permit fees, but maybe institute a infrastructure fee that they would all have to pay as a percentage just to get their permit, and that would go those funds would go directly to our infrastructure?
You
Is
would
that something
need
that we're able to do?
you would need legislation to allow for impact. They're called impact fees.
Right.
I don't think you can unilaterally impose those, but I mean, many communities do. Oftentimes, the impact fees are associated with school increased enrollment.
Absolutely.
But I think that is something that if somebody wanted to bring it forward for consideration. I can't give a legal opinion on it, but
Yeah. But I think that's something else that we should look at to try and get some, more funding out of these developers to
I
help
think
us prepare the infrastructure.
I think we should, that's why we need to, we need to immediately start having, I periodically, stop in the planning office and talk to Mr. O'Brien and Mr. Solari, and I think our zoning downtown needs some work. I mean, I think there's inconsistencies. There's village district referenced in there that don't even exist. I mean, it needs to be cleaned up, and I think we can clean it up relatively easily, and maybe adjust some things like commercial, more, commercial on the first floor as opposed to just the front, a commercial half the building as opposed to just the front, stuff like that. And I think maybe we talk about infrastructure. So, hopefully we can maybe invite Mr. Solari to the first meeting in January, and whoever Mr. O'Brien thinks else would be beneficial, and try to go through and figure out what the issues are with the current downtown zoning, and try to fix those, and try to look at infrastructure stuff. So
Agreed.
I don't think anybody likes this. I mean, but it's
Mr. Driscoll, you have a meeting, you have more of a meeting after.
yeah, we do. So
maybe
and I know you're
I'll
trying.
get
So is there any other comments?
No, I'd like to motion to close the public meeting.
All right. So Mr. Praddy motion to close the public hearing for the planning board. Do we have a second?
Second.
By Mr. Geller.
Nope.
All in, we have to do the roll because it's Zoom, right? So Mr. Costa,
Yes.
Mr. Praddy,
Yes.
Mr. Geller,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. So Mr. Council Lindy, do you want to close your public
Yes,
hearing?
I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Okay, so
Second.
moved and merrily seconded. Okay, so I'll do a roll call because it's Zoom as well. Council Striggles,
Yes.
Council Hunt,
Yes.
and myself, Council Lindy, yes. Okay, Pat, I'm going to ask if you would consider voting your committee first so I can report it out to our council meeting at 7:30, and then we'll vote so I can know what happens because we have to leave.
Yeah. So we'll, is there any deliberation? If anybody want to make some final comments before there's a motion, or, what's the feeling of the board?
I'd like to make a motion to take a vote on this matter, please.
Do you have a motion, Mr. Praddy?
Yes.
What is that motion?
Motion is to take a vote on this public ordinance, or this recommendation.
Right, but we
We
need
would
need
need
a
to-
motion. Do you want a motion to approve? Do you want a motion to, well, this is a recommendation. So do you want a motion to recommend or to not recommend?
I'll make a motion to not recommend.
So Mr. Praddy made a motion to not recommend. Do we have a second? Is there a second to Mr. Brady's recommendation to not recommend
Second.
by Mr. Fabrowski? So now we have discussion. So any discussion on this before we take a vote?
One of the questions I would have, Council, is if we did not pass it tonight, would we have a chance to re-vote on this with maybe some additional information?
What additional information do you need?
Well, at this point, there's a lot of unanswered things for me, quite frankly, and maybe I'm not as educated in this as I should be. But half of what I feel like is like we're going to pass it to see what's in it, kind of thing. There's a lot of, we're talking about grants that we get, but we really don't even know 100% what grants we would be getting, and is it risk reward? Is it worth these grants for what we're giving up?
Right.
So at this point, quite frankly, I'm not for it because it's not enough for me to believe it's worth it for the town of Bridgewater. Not for myself, but for the town of Bridgewater. I don't believe that this is worth it to Bridgewater.
I'm going to jump in and just say that I don't know about additional time because there's hearing notice requirements and stuff like that, and the deadline is the 31st of the year. I believe that's correct.
Additionally, to Chris, we've presented grant information that was provided to the planning board as part of our communications. The presentation to the CED committee listed out grants that we currently have that would be eligible, as well as grants we would be eligible or not be eligible for if we were non-compliant. So that information was provided to the board.
Right, maybe this was previous to me.
No.
So, I'll just say, although I agree with Mr. Pratty and Mr. Fabrowski, I did work with a couple of councils, and we did draft a letter back asking for caps and the minimums, and staff and the council worked with us on that. So I don't like it. I'm very concerned about it. I think we're putting the cart before the horse. I think we should have tightened things up before we pass this, but I think we need to hit the ground running in January if this passes and change design standards or update design standards, update commercial requirements, update, driveway curb, whatever we can do to improve infrastructure and try to get the best development possible downtown. So although I really respect Mr. Pratty's position and Mr. Fabrowski's position, I'm glad there's different opinions on the board. I would not vote to not recommend. So that's just me though.
So just as a point of clarification for the vote moving forward, a yes vote would be to not recommend and a no vote would be to recommend.
Correct. So the motion is to not recommend by Mr. Pratty, seconded by Mr. Fabrowski. Is there any other discussion on the motion? All right, I'll take the roll call. So yes is to not recommend, no is to recommend. Okay.
Correct.
So Mr. Fabrowski?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mr. Pratty?
Yes.
Mr. Geller?
No.
And I'm a no as well. So 3 to not recommend, 2 to recommend.
That's correct.
3 to not recommend.
Correct.
Okay, and I will entertain.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. I will entertain a motion from the CED committee members. Go ahead, Sonia.
I'll make a motion to recommend to the full council.
And Marilee, would you second?
I'll second that, yes.
Okay, any discussion?
My only discussion point would be that, I don't think anyone who is voting on this matter loves it in its complete entirety. I think that there was a lot of work that probably could have been done before the initial application was put in. That was before some of our time in our respective positions. So whether that's right or wrong, I think that we have an opportunity to position ourselves as a town with the state to take advantage of some of the funds that may be available. and also do our due diligence in both of our areas of expertise, whether it's the CED or the planning board, to ensure that, you know, we're cleaning some things up, making sure that it is as beneficial to Bridgewater as possible, and that when we have to enforce certain things or deny a project simply because of infrastructure, that we have those capabilities. So again, I agree that it's not perfect, but the only enemy of good is ever perfect. So ultimately, that's kind of my position, and that's why I support it.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Hunt, do you have anything to comment on or add?
No, I can agree with Councillor Striggles.
Okay. So I will then call for a vote. Roll call, Counselor Striggles?
Yes.
Well,
What?
I'm sorry, and I don't mean to interrupt you. Do you have a motion?
They did a motion in a second,
They
Pat.
did a motion in a
Oh,
second. Yeah.
I apologize. I'm sorry to
Okay.
interrupt.
No worries. So Counselor Striggles is a yes.
Yes.
Counselor Hunt?
Yes.
And I'm a no. So it's 2-1 in favor. Okay, we're gonna leave the meeting. Thank
All
you.
right.
I'll be glad to work with you on, going forward, depending on the council action.
All right, so
Thank
you guys are recommending
We're
2-1. We're not recommending 3-2.
Right.
And I
Correct.
think either way, Mr. Lindy, no matter whether this moves forward or doesn't move forward, we should still work on
Absolutely.
cleaning up the downtown zoning.
Correct.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. We're gonna
I think
leave for
that goes
another meeting.
without saying for sure. I think it needs to happen no matter what happens in our next meeting. I think
Right.
that we can all come to an agreement with that we have some work to do.
Yes.
And thank you to all the councilors and
Thank you very much.
planning board members and public that attended. So,
Yes, thank you. Okay.
Thanks, Mark.
all right, let me get back to.
Let me bring up the agenda, Pat.
Oh, I got it right here. Just
Cool.
shifting papers around. All right. So we've gone through item 2. So we have some site plan reviews. So the first continued public hearing we have is Zero Lakeshore Center. This is Encompass Health for site plan approval, sections 9.4 and 10.6 for the Bridgewater zoning ordinance, and a modification to the existing special permit from the 1988 decision for proposed inpatient rehabilitation hospital and associated parking and drainage. This was continued from November 5th. Mr. O'Brien, I know you sent over this week a continuation letter because they said they're waiting on the water impact analysis from the.
Yeah, I can. So I got an email over from. Well, I've reached out to Greg Tanzi, who's not here tonight. He gave us a status update in terms of when Apex's our 53G third-party review of the water impact would be completed. Said around Christmas time. So that information was provided over to the applicant. The applicant did provide updated information that was provided to the board and is on our website. However, just based on the information, not the water impact information not being provided, they've requested a continuance to our first meeting in January. That would be January 7th, 2026.
Okay, so do we have a motion to grant their request for continuance to January 7th, 2026?
So moved.
So by Mr. Praddy, did I hear Mr. Geller as a second?
Yep.
Mr. Geller, I'll take the roll. Mr. Fabrowski,
Yes.
Mr. Costa,
Yes.
Mr. Praddy,
Yes.
Mr. Geller,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on, we have 1010 Elm Street, map 30, lot 20. Again, this is site review 10.6 for construction of a 27,000 square foot commercial building with parking and other site improvements. This is continued from November 19th. Mr. O'Brien, they also sent the continuation request to what date?
That would be to January 7th as well. In terms of that continuation, they're still working with the LSP, with the Conservation Commission. So they're looking to be on for the January 7th meeting, hopefully.
Okay, so do we have a motion to continue this to January 7th, 2025?
2026, sir.
2026, I'm sorry.
So moved.
Who made the motion?
Steve.
Take your pick.
Mr. Geller, Mr. Praddy, second.
Yes.
All right, so we have a motion by Mr. Geller, second by Mr. Praddy. I'll take the roll. Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mr. Fabrowski?
Yes.
Mr. Praddy?
Yes.
Mr. Geller?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Okay. Item 4, definitive subdivision, public hearing continuation. This is 593 Plymouth Street, Barty Investment Group LLC, for proposed subdivision titled Revelation Road with 6 buildable lots and 2 drainage lots on 5.9 acres of land per the Bridgewater subdivision rules and regulations. This was continued from November 19th. They also requested a continuation this week. Mr. O'Brien, is that correct?
That is correct. We received a continuation today, requesting a continuance to the December 17th meeting.
Okay. So do we have a motion to continue that to December 17th?
Again, so moved.
Mr. Praddy? Do we have a
Yeah,
second? Mr. Geller? I'll take the roll. Mr. Praddy?
Aye, yes.
Mr. Geller?
Yes.
Mr. Fabrowski?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
All right, we do have a number of street acceptances. We did get an email from Attorney Castanetti today, again requesting a continuation to what, the 7th, is that correct?
December 17th.
December
Oh,
7th.
I believe it's December 17th. Let me just confirm that last email. I apologize. Yeah, December 17th. I apologize. Yeah.
Okay. So do we have a motion to continue the 4 street acceptance proposals till December 17th?
So moved.
By Mr. Praddy? Do we have a second?
Second.
By Mr. Geller? Okay, I'll take the roll. Mr. Fabrowski?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mr. Geller?
Yes.
Mr. Praddy?
Yes.
Okay, great.
And I'll provide an additional email to Deb Ward and Town Council, just letting them know that we're still deliberating on Timber, Oldfield, and Urbeck. I think Calthrope was just recently forwarded over, so we're still within that time frame.
Well, I'd also add the developer is the one asking for the continuation.
That is correct, yes, and we're agreeing to it.
All right, so I see Attorney Brennan is with us, and we have 0 Corporate Drive and 0 Pleasant Street. This is for Claremont Bridgewater Hotel 2 LLC. A landscaping plan update as per site plan conditions of the approval. So, Attorney Brennan, you're more than welcome to give us an update if you want. I don't personally. I opened my email up at 6 o'clock and saw that a plan came in. I haven't looked at anything. I know a number of board members expressed frustration with the late submittal. So I think if you want to update us,
sure.
and then we can have the board, we can have it put up. It has not been up publicly very long. I think it's only been up.
I placed the landscaping plans and forwarded to the board around 2:30 today.
And we have a Wednesday prior to the meeting deadline for submittal, so it did come in today. But you're here and we'd like to have you give us an update on it if you want to give us a quick update, and then we can
Sure.
continue it to the December 17th meeting.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the board, my name is Ed Brennan. I'm an attorney with an office at 174 Dean Street in Taunton, representing Claremont, the proponent on this project. I have with me tonight Tom Miner from Hawk Design. That's the landscape architect that we're working with to create the landscaping plan to satisfy the condition of the site plan approval. The board members may recall that we were before you back in August, and we presented a landscaping plan at that time. The board members had some suggestions and asked us to make some changes to it, and we have done so and incorporated those changes into the plan. Primarily, we've added additional plantings. We've taken into consideration the board's concern about being able to see the parking lot from the street and the effect headlights might have on adjacent properties. So we've increased the plantings on top of the berm that will shield the headlights from the Pleasant Street 104 area. So we've addressed that concern, and we've added 18 rhododendrons, which will provide some green buffer shrubs year round, and those have been situated so that they will also shield the parking lot from the 104 area. And we've added additional evergreens, and we've wrapped them around one side, coming around the corner of the parking lot, which is one of the suggestions by the board, one of the board members. Mr. Minor's here with me tonight. We can try to share the screen with you so that we can, it's his plan, he designed it. He'll be able to show you where these changes were made. But I think with the additions that by incorporating the suggestions of the board, I think we presented a plan that satisfies that condition on site plan approval. I don't see Mr. Minor on the.
He's on, and he has the
Oh,
ability
okay.
to
All
share
right.
his screen as well.
Okay, I'm sorry, I just didn't see him on the picture screen. So if I could turn it over to Mr. Minor and he can explain to you the changes that he's made to the plan from the August hearing.
Thank you, Ed. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
I have it.
Okay. This is a kind of an enlarged shot of the 80-foot buffer zone. The darker green trees are the existing trees in the buffer that we'll be preserving. The lighter green, larger light green trees are proposed trees. There's some smaller flowering trees right around the end of the building, and right along the parking here, we've got white 8 to 10 foot high white spruce, and those are planted on the top of a berm. And I've located those, tried to locate them between the existing trees to maximize screening. Between those evergreen trees, I'm proposing 3 to 3.5 foot rhododendrons that'll fill in those spaces without crowding everything out. I would like to share, hopefully I can do this here, just to make it a little bit more, give us a little bit more explanation on, I don't know how to get rid of those. Here we go. I created this cross section through the parking lot to show everyone exactly what this existing berm is that we've been talking about. I don't know if it was really clear to everyone, but as you can see, this is the existing grade coming up, and this is where we cut down to the parking lot, and the finished grade at the parking lot is 72.5, and the top of this berm at the high point is about 78.5, so it's 6 foot high. And our grade at the road is 72. So there's no way you're going to see any headlights. This is a 6 foot high SUV. So chances are you're not going to see any vehicles from 104. These lighter, shorter shrubs here are the rhododendrons, and these are the 8 to 10 foot spruce. I've just approximated some of the existing trees that would be saved. I have, I'm just guessing at the height and the canopy, but I think I'm pretty conservative on both. And so I strongly believe that we've got a really good screening from 104 to the parking and to the hotel. I've shown just a very little bit of understory here, not knowing what's going to be saved during the tree removal process. Sometimes it's not very much, and sometimes it can grow up quite quickly. So I think everything together provides a really good screen from 104 to the parking and the building.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mann. So I just think that, And I don't know how the rest of the board feels. I opened it up at 6 o'clock, so I don't know if everybody else has had, I think it makes sense just to have it online at least for a week like we typically do because we ask for the Wednesday submittal so members of the public can view it. The board can get familiar with it and have, hopefully good questions at the next meeting and I appreciate the work done because I think what you provided is very helpful. So,
Understood.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yeah, I just had one comment regarding it, so I looked it over quickly, but I just wanted to make sure that the other plantings would be featured. I know that we've focused a lot of the attention on the 104 side of the plantings here. However, I also think that this plan should include not to kind of overwhelm everyone, but this plan should also include the plantings that were on the other side of the hotel where the entrance comes in. I just think that they should be featured on the plans too. So we have one landscaping plan that we refer to when we go out and look for a conformance review, rather than me looking at, I think what we have on the decision is it's a May 2023 plan that Hawk Design did that features some landscaping elements too. So I just want to make sure that those landscaping features and those trees are also incorporated in this design.
Good, thank you. All right, so any board comments for Attorney Brennan or Mr. Minor before we continue it to the 17th? I understand you guys want to get started, and we want to be business friendly, and I apologize for pushing it out, but we can't get plans 3 hours, 4 hours before the meeting and expect the board to have time to review them.
Understood.
They should also probably add the additional plantings to the main planting list of the original design.
Okay. We have Melissa Ramadata, if you'd like to speak before we continue it.
Thank you, Chair Driscoll. Has the planning board received a copy of the superseding order of conditions from DEP dated October 15th, 2025?
I personally have not seen them. I don't know if Mr. O'Brien has them. He could
I
distribute.
would just say that wouldn't be, if the board wants to do it, if the board wants a superseding order, it's more pertinent to the Conservation Commission decision on this matter.
Yeah, actually, I disagree with you, Shane, because there's a condition that any plantings or seeds located outside of areas to be maintained as lawn and landscape shall be native to Plymouth County in accordance with the Vascular Plants of Massachusetts, the county checklist for supervision. So there's actually specifications about the types of plants, and they need to be native to the county. So I'd like to know, has the landscape architect been given this information by Claremont? And I think it does relate to what you're doing. This is an area of critical environmental concern. So I would hope that you would have received it at least by the applicant, or that the landscape architect would have knowledge of that.
Well, also being a superseding order, I think DP would be involved in this matter as well, too.
Yeah, they should probably see the plan, maybe.
I think they've seen it.
Mr. O'Brien,
Yeah, I can provide the superseding order to the planning board members if that's pertinent information to you guys.
I mean, if it does speak to the plantings, and Attorney Brennan and Mr. Minor, can you make sure that the planting, if that is a condition, can you make sure the plans and those plantings do comply with that order?
Yes.
Yes.
May I make another comment?
Sure.
Thank you. The January 3rd decision is going to be 2 years old and expires in a month. Since this decision, there have been 2 MIPA decisions filed, including our certificate regarding the establishment of a special review procedure and a certificate regarding the final environmental impact report and a notice of project change. There's also been the order of conditions from Concom and the superseding order of conditions that I just referred to. So in the decision that you filed on January 3rd, it said if any changes are made, at the request of other agencies, boards, or commissions to the applicant's plan, the applicant shall be required to come before the planning board for a modification hearing review such changes prior to the commencement of any construction, implementation of the changes and certificate of occupancy. And as you know from my letter of February, I don't know the exact date, but February of this year, there are a number of issues and corrections that are required for the decision. So my question to you is, can the planning board schedule a modification hearing, as there have been many things noted in the DEP documents, in the DEP superseding order of conditions, as well as the MEPA documents that relate to this decision? I think you need to, the planning board deserves to and should know about these things that have been mentioned by the state and asked for by the state.
Mr. O'Brien, can you make sure we get the MEPA decision and the superseding order to see if there's anything?
Well, I can give you the superseding order. What I can say is that on the next meeting, that we have placed a request for an extension by the applicant for the hotel 0 Corporate Drive, 0 Pleasant Street. So that'll be on for the December 17th meeting. That item was in court through the Conservation Commission. But yeah, if any information that can be provided, but regarding planning board review, whatever the planning board approves and whatever other requirements are part of that process, there may be modifications that occur pre-building permit, post-building permit, during the building permit process that do occur through certificate of occupancies, as this board's aware. So there may be changes that do occur based on the 100% construction before the 100% construction drawings. So that's something that is provided to the board, and information is provided to the board regarding modifications to plans.
Didn't they already apply for building permit?
Yeah, but we have to sign. You have to sign. We have a sign off for building permits, and all the departments have signed off for building permits. So we have not signed off. What
Well, what I'm
I
saying
typically
is how do you not have 100% plans and apply for a building permit?
What I'm expressing to you, Mr. Chair, is the information that we don't sign off on permits until the corrected information, as per the decision, are provided.
So are there any changes in that? Are there any changes in the MEPA filing or the MEPA decision or the superseding order that the planning board needs to be aware of that could affect the site plan?
Yes. I mean, I think you all need to see these documents, but it says here in the MEPA SRP dated August 1st, 2025, the proponent is directed to engage in construction activity only to the extent that, and just summarizing, that for which, and this is lot 7. Now remember, lot 7 is the hotel, and then there was this big open area next to it. They're only supposed to engage in construction activity to the extent of what would be needed for the hotel. They can't, MEPA is saying that any common infrastructure would not be permitted. So I think these are things that, I mean, the board needs to look at them.
Well,
I'm just a resident. I don't know.
what I can say that they have done no construction activity at the site.
No, but Shane, shouldn't it be in the permit, in the decision that the board
No,
is
because there
saying?
are other things beyond the planning board
Oh.
decision that do occur. There's nothing about the Conservation Commission and the superseding order. This is within the jurisdiction of the planning board. There are other items other than the planning board decision that exist, and as departments and other entities, we review this as part of that building permitting process.
So, Mr. O'Brien,
I can provide you any information. I'm just expressing how building permits and process work.
If you could review the MEPA filing and the superseding order of conditions, I didn't even realize there was a MEPA decision. So if you could get those to us, and if you could point out any things in there that affect this site that we may need to have.
And we can have a healthy discussion about it on the 17th when they request their extension as well.
Correct, but I think it'd be great to have that information posted and to have the information to us.
Sure.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, may I be heard on that?
Sure, Attorney Brennan, go ahead.
what's before the board tonight and on the 17th will be the landscaping plan. This is like one step at a time. If there are any revisions to the site plan, they have to be made as a result of subsequent MIPA or DEP superseding order. The applicant will propose particular modifications to the site plan, but we're not at that point yet. The superseding order just issued on October 22nd. I'm sorry, October 15th. That's about a 22-month period where essentially our hands were tied from doing anything on this project until we had the ruling from the DEP on the superseding order. Now we have that, and the appeal period on the superseding order has run, and it has been recorded. The next order would be to get the landscaping plan approved and satisfactory to the board, approved to satisfy that condition. Then any subsequent permits that may have issued, either MIPA or DEP, that may or may not require a modification to the site plan, they would be filed with the board. But we're not at that point yet. We're just taking one step at a time. And the issue on this agenda tonight and on the 17th is the landscaping plan. Certainly, they're all public records. The board should get the superseding order and the MIPA certificates. But trying to stay focused on what's before the board now, it's the landscaping plan. And like I said, we did lose 22 months of time on this because of the DEP appeal. And we only got that back on October 15th. So we're prepared to address whatever issues might need to be addressed with the site plan, but one thing at a time, and the next order of business would be the landscaping plan.
Yeah, and I just think that I understand what you're saying, but I also think that if we're going to review a landscape plan, it should comply with the superseding order. That way we wouldn't have to do it twice, right?
I agree. We've got the native species. Yes, I think we have complied with that, but we'll double check that and dot our I's and cross the T's on that.
All right. So Mrs. Hanson has her hand up.
Hi, Janet Hanson, Pleasant Street. Thank you. I do agree with everything Melissa had said, and I do hope that the planning board does, and it sounds like you're going to review all that before anything decisions. But just quickly, obviously the plants need to be reviewed to make sure they are compliant to that area. But I'd like to know what type of rhododendron he's referring to, because there is only one native rhododendron. It's actually called the Rochelle azalea throughout New England, and that's the only one that should be put there, and not the ones that you see in people's yards and stuff like that. So just be careful when he says rhododendron, is it the Rochelle azalea? Because that's the only native naturally rhododendron to New England. So I just hope that that's what he's referring to, which goes along with all the other plantings. So I just wanted to stress that. And we'll see. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Hanson. Mrs. Holmes?
Good evening. I'm Nicole Holmes, 80 Old Farm Road. And I'm also a member of the tree committee. I do have a comment, and I think it is specifically related to the landscape plans. I have been reviewing the plans, and to me, it's not very clear the extent of the amount of existing trees that will be removed. The landscape plan that I'm reviewing appears to really focus on the buffer only. But, so it's not very clear. For example, the existing tree line is not clearly labeled, and the extent of existing trees that will be proposed to be cleared is also not clearly labeled. I'm sort of comparing what I can see on the survey. The existing condition survey does show that tree line. I can see it on Google Maps, and I'm doing some quick takeoffs, and it does look like there's over 8 acres of forest that will be proposed to be cleared. At least 1 to 2 of those acres are being cleared in the buffer up to the wetlands for managing stormwater. And it also appears that about 3 acres at least may be cleared just for no purpose. I'm not quite sure yet what it is. I'm trying to kind of still go through the plans. It's not for the hotel or the parking or the roadways. It's just sort of a large area in front that it looks like they may be doing some regrading. So I do think it's, especially on behalf of the tree committee, we're really striving to
preserve this very sensitive area, protect as many trees as absolutely possible. And I would really just encourage the board to work with this developer and try to minimize the extent of clear cutting, only to what is absolutely necessary to support the approved development per the zoning. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Again, a lot of this we just got today, so.
Mr. Chairman, I would note that the condition we're working on is the 80-foot landscaping strip off of 104. Now, that was the
Right.
condition, within the 80 feet.
Okay, anybody else? So this will be well, so Mr. O'Brien received it, I think, around 1 o'clock today, he said. So
Yeah, like 2-ish.
So he did post this on the
Yeah, so if you
site.
go to our website, it's either under 2025 other items, or if you go to the original Lakeshore Hotel from 2023, they have the landscaping plans. It's dated, I think, 12/3/2025. So they are available. If anyone has any issues accessing it, I know I've had a couple people. Please reach out. I can assist with getting that information to you, as well as any other help.
And we'll make sure that I didn't realize it was a MIPA decision that
Yeah,
that potentially gave some comments on the site plan. So I'll make sure that the board through Mr. O'Brien gets the MIPA and the superseding order from
yeah. I just want to confirm if Melissa's still here. Oh, she's
Hi,
off.
Shane, I'm here.
Is this the July online? Is the July 25th FEIR?
I'll send them to you.
July 18th?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I can send them to you, or yeah, I'm not sure.
Because as you know, there's been a couple
I'm not
FEIRs.
sure where you would find it online.
I think
It's just-
I found one pertinent to that features Encompass Health, but yeah, if you want to send it over, I have one that I can provide to the
Yeah,
board
I'm
as well
happy
too.
to. I mean, I'm sure Attorney Brennan has this information as well, so maybe he.
Okay.
So Mr. O'Brien,
But I'd be happy to as well.
Cool, thank you.
do we get when a superseding order like that comes out, do we get a copy of that typically?
Not often. So it's typically within the Conservation Commission. I would provide a document to you if you guys were CC'd on it. Typically, it would be departmental or Conservation Commission based. But happy to provide it just because the information is being asked for.
Yeah. All right. Any other comments? All right, so we'll continue this, or make a motion to continue this to December 17th.
So moved.
Motion, go ahead, so moved.
So I think Steve and then Tom Pratty second.
Yes.
Steve Geller, Tom Pratt, okay. So we have a motion by Mr. Geller, second by Mr. Pratt. Any discussion to continue this to December 17th? Mr. Fabrowski,
Yes.
Mr. Geller,
Yes.
Mr. Pratty,
Yes.
Mr. Fabrowski,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Th-
Thank you.
Thank you.
Attorney.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you
Good night.
for the public comment as well. All right, Mr. O'Brien, did I see we just got minutes today?
No, I sent May 21st meeting minutes yesterday. I was still in the process of finalizing May 28th. So you guys do have the May 21st, 2025 meeting minutes.
I mean, the stuff we get the last couple of days, I haven't even had a chance to look at, so I haven't looked at them.
I have reviewed them.
You have?
Yes, I have.
How they look?
If the majority has, and we want to make a motion, let's do it. I haven't, but Mr. Pratty's right on top of it, so.
To approve those minutes, Mr. Chairman?
Do you want to make a motion? Sure.
Just did, yeah.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Geller? Any discussion? Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mr. Fabrowski?
Yes.
Mr. Pratty?
Yes.
Mr. Geller?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Great. All right. That was just that first set, Shane.
That was just May 21st. May 28th is not in a form I feel comfortable giving you guys yet.
Okay, so why don't we jump down to the planning board schedule approval? Mr. O'Brien post a schedule with a submittal deadline, which is the Wednesday before?
Yeah, so I'll bring that up too. So what I just wanted to get is a basic understanding of these dates in red. So these dates in red would be the dates that we would not would get rid of.
What is AWPL?
That's Ash Wednesday, but it's also February vacation for those who have children. So I just included that. I included Passover for April 1st, as well as July 1st. Typically, we don't have a meeting the first meeting of July, but counting all these up, it would actually be one more meeting than we had this year. So that's great.
Shane, is that also the 4/15? Is that school vacation week?
No, school vacation is the week after, I believe.
Okay. Okay, good.
But
I
I
mean,
can.
I have no problem with doing Ash Wednesday. Most likely I'm going to be away though, so it's up to the board. I mean, if we want to adopt the schedule as proposed, we can do that, and we can always make adjustments throughout the year if we need to, but that's
Yeah, this doesn't include special meetings because, we things do pop up and we do have special meetings. In terms of the first and third Wednesdays, I like to at least get this out there and eliminate some that may be the possibility of less board members being there.
and I know, I'm not trying to give you a hard time, but trying to make your life easier too. I know we try to be business friendly and everything else. So when you're on this side, you see stuff get submitted at the last minute all the time. I just think that to be fair to the applicants, to be fair to you, and to be fair to the board, we really need stuff submitted the week before, and then it has to be a cutoff, and that goes to the next meeting after that. It's just way too difficult for staff to manage stuff coming in last minute and volunteer board members to be going through their Gmail, 2 hours before trying to find all the emails from you because people sent stuff in at the last minute. It's very difficult to manage. So.
Sure thing. So I also wanted to kind of make notes. So this is kind of I keep internally, but I do post this to the website. So for these dates that we would be approving, it would be considerations of when this information would be given to staff in order to place it on an agenda. So we run the legal ad for 2 weeks in advance. When the deadlines are, this is more for myself to the newspaper. But typically what I have on here is updated plans and other items to be placed on the agenda and give the opportunity at least 1 week in advance, as you're stating, Mr. Chair.
And I think the application deadline, it needs to be deemed complete by that date because I mean the other thing too is we can't have a half application and we can't have an application without a water impact study. So I think internally it needs to be deemed complete by that date and everything, and then we can place it in
Well,
the.
I think we should have a continuing discussion of what completeness is. Because I think you and I have different.
Everything required should be turned in.
Okay. Everything that is required should be turned in. I
I mean,
agree.
that's just me. I just think it's just.
What I would say that uh, one of the biggest things that I want to make sure is provided is all the corrected information. Ideally, there are some times that someone comes into these meetings and the board asks for additional information. Oh, they didn't provide this or that. That initial application is still complete. It's just that the board's asking for additional information. The biggest thing that, from my point, in terms of advertising and sending to abutters, is that proper address, proper map and lot, proper zoning code. If someone's doing site plan review and they're requesting waivers, that information is properly posted. So, but we can have a continuing discussion regarding. So we have a checklist and we make sure that everyone provides proper information through Permitize prior to you guys getting anything, as well as it being placed on a board meeting and hearing.
All right. So do we want to vote to accept Shane's schedule for 2026?
Motion to approve Shane's
It's
schedule for 2026.
By Mr. Praddy, do a second.
Second.
Mr. Frabowski, any discussion?
Yeah, I just have a comment. If anything goes wrong, you guys are going to blame me for these meeting dates.
Correct.
All right, thank you.
So Mr. Costa? Mr. Costa?
Yes, yes.
Mr. Fabrowski?
Yes.
Mr. Praddy?
Yes.
Mr. Geller?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Okay, Mr. O'Brien, just the 17th, what do we have on?
Oh, for the 17th, we got, like I said earlier, we will have anything continued. So that'd be 593 Plymouth Street, street acceptances, if we have any A&Rs to anticipate. But I'm also anticipating the landscaping plan as well as a extension request for 0 Corporate Drive, 0 Pleasant Street. So they'll be requesting an extension of time for their project to move forward. But that's what I'm assuming for that. I just also wanted to ask too if the board was okay with that meeting being remote as well, rather than have a hybrid meeting. We can discuss when the next hybrid meeting is in January, whether we want to have the first one be hybrid or the second one, or whenever the board wants to have one of those. So
Remind me why you just want to do the next one hybrid? It seems like we might have a lot of stuff. Why you just want to do it remote?
just in terms of availability, I know that is also the week of Hanukkah, so I just wanted to express that, also holidays, it may be easier for people to attend the meetings that close to the holidays rather than come into person. So, but I leave it up to you guys in terms of what you want to do.
Do you guys want to do it hybrid, like in person, or do you want to do it Zoom?
I don't mind doing hybrid.
I like in person better, but I'll do
Yeah.
whatever.
Same here, hybrid.
So, Mr. Praddy, you're a hybrid?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Fabrowski, you Zoom or hybrid?
Hybrid.
Mr. Geller? Zoom or
Hybrid.
hybrid? What's that?
Hybrid.
Hybrid?
Yeah.
So who did I forget? It's me and
Me.
Mr. Costas?
Hybrid.
Hybrid?
Yeah, I'm good with hybrid.
All right. So hybrid. So we'll do hybrid on the 17th, Mr.
Well, it's a
O'Brien?
non-binding recommendation from the board. No, I'll reach out to IT and set it up.
All right. All right. Anything else?
Yeah, quickly, Mr. Chairman. Future meetings, future questions that may come up, off meetings, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to give everyone on the board my phone number. Shane, could you take mine and all board members' cell phone numbers to have a little list so you could forward that to us if everyone doesn't mind?
Yeah. Why don't you do it off the?
Yeah, come in person. Give me your number.
Okay.
Don't
Well,
email
either
me.
that or everybody just send their cell phone number to Mr. O'Brien. He can put a list together.
Perfect.
Right.
Yeah, we can have a discussion. I have some contact information when you guys, became board members from the clerk's office, but I don't have I don't know what's changed. I have your emails, so
I'll give you a complete list of my name, address, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
sure thing. If you're sending Christmas cards,
With money or without?
66 Central Square, garden level.
I think it was a good meeting tonight. I think it's good when there's 3-2 votes. It's good to have people disagree. It's I
Really
like
paying me to do this, say no, only because I know the work you've put into it, but I just don't foresee in the long range that this whole MBTA thing is going to be good. You've dumbed it down as best you can, but it's even at that minuscule level, it's still not going to be good for the town. That's me personally.
I totally agree. I totally agree.
let's try to. So Shane, why don't we try to do start a discussion on downtown zoning?
Yeah, we can start
Can we put
January
that
7th
on
regarding.
January 7th? We'll block out an hour or something for that, or 45 minutes.
Yeah, we can block out just general discussion. We'll have it posted. You and I can kind of formulate that together. Just another item on.
Yeah, maybe we can even commit. Maybe appoint a couple people from the planning board to sit down with Mr. Solari or something to just kind of walk through, or just to see what they're. I mean, I know there's issues, and they
Oh,
just.
we can. I think even then too, if we can deep dive into it, but even at that first meeting, we can. There might be a general misunderstanding sometimes of how we operate. So even then too, we can just kind of provide a general discussion on from a staff standpoint in terms of operations and, zoning and all that stuff too. We don't have to do a
Yeah,
full dive, but
just a few projects that have come before us. The stuff should be clear. It shouldn't be, the clearer it is, the better it is to the developer, the better it is for us. We get what we want. They know,
sure.
they know exactly what their risks are.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we confine to developers is that all our especially from a planning board standpoint, is that everything that we allow or require is in our zoning ordinance or in our subdivision rules and regulations. This board isn't very, we're very transparent in terms of what you need to come in with in terms of meeting the requirements. But yeah, if we want to make some adjustments to that, I'm happy to have that discussion. As well as too, just to segue into planner's report too. One of the things that I'm looking to kind of, I guess this occurred in the past. We're looking to do a technical review with departments for applicants and developers who may have some projects that they're looking to bring before the board, but prior to getting to the board, getting some departmental comments. I know there's been, you know, some issues in the past. We do provide department comment or information to all departments. We don't necessarily receive them all. So this is an opportunity for applicants to come in, meet with departments, and kind of discuss their projects. It's not what I've heard in the past is that some people come in and they think that everyone's okay with the project, so it's a thumbs up. And then they're surprised that we have additional comments as the plans develop. But I think there's an opportunity to actually have better communication. It won't prevent people from just coming to the planning board, and it's completely optional for developers. But I think this will definitely kind of provide some clarity for some issues that people come in with and kind of assist them with the development process.
One thing I wanted to say, Shane, in closing too, is I do want to say that I have a lot of empathy for what you and Mr. Rulli have done with the MBTA scenario. And I know that you guys have put a ton of work in it and you're very passionate about it. So it's not an easy decision to be against something, but I do not, I did what my conscience tells me to do.
Well, I'll do one last comment on it, and it's what we would like the opportunity for, and I'll just speak to myself, is that there are grants from the state that we want to maintain eligibility for to make improvements to the town. And that money is great coming from the state. However, for improvements to be made for other things in town, that expense then falls on taxpayers. So the opportunity to be eligible for as many grants as we possibly can and put ourselves out there for as many grants as possible allows for less of a burden onto the taxpayers of Bridgewater. So that's the only thing I'll say about that. And, we hope to kind of maintain eligibility for those grants.
Understood.
Absolutely.
All right, so do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Pratty?
I'll second.
Mr. Costa? I'll take the roll. Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mr. Geller?
Yes.
Mr. Pratty?
Yes.
Mr. Fabrowski?
Yes.
And I'm a yes.
See y'all later.
Thanks,
Thank you. Good night.
See you. Bye.